that Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Many fans of the Netflix show Orange is the New Black. A lot of us out there spent the weekend binge watching its 5th season after its debut on Friday. The Emmy-winning series is based on a privileged young woman whose decade-old relationship with a drug runner gets her thrown into a woman's federal prison. Last season, it ended with a rising tension after inmate Pusey Washington died when a prison guard pinned her to the floor with his knee. Now, the new season finds that the Litchfield inmates, that was hard to watch, in control of the prison after a riot.
We gonna need your snacks. Oh, you see how you just say yours as in belonging to us?
It's important. You're like, what, the snack police?
Yo, they were a bribe. Mr. Fancy Pants Governor thought he would trick us into surrendering with snacks and tampons. They trying to plug all our holes.
So you're throwing them away? That's a great plan.
We gotta show them we serious.
That's badass.
No, it's stupid.
Yeah. Don't we want this to end?
We want justice.
Well, you want justice. We want to go home to our families at some point.
But some of us ain't got a home outside. This is my home, and I'm gonna fight for it.
Do you think that they would be doing this to us if we were men? This is so insulting.
Exactly.
We are joined at the table by some of the stars of Orange is the New Black. That's Taylor Schilling, Laura Prepon, and Danielle Brooks. Welcome. It shows you in prison your priorities change, that snacks and tampon is like a coveted item.
Yeah.
But listen, it opened season 5 with an amazing, I want to say amazing riot, but a very graphic riot. And I'm thinking the women are clearly in charge this season. It starts off with a huge bang. Taylor.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think I'm looking at the poster for season 5, and the idea of standing up really, I think that embodies what the writers have kind of created this year. And it's exciting to see. It's exciting to see all of the ladies galvanized around one cause. You know, and I don't think we've had that before. And to see how everyone reacts. I mean, it's a very exciting season for Tasty. It's really exciting to see.
It's been a crazy ride for Tasty. I feel like we've definitely got to see her go on an incredible journey through the 5 seasons. But this season, we're going to see somebody operate out of a place of having nothing to lose. You know, Tasty is going for blood here and for justice for her friend. And I feel like she is really showing us how resilient that she is. But I just love her so much because she's a fighter. She does not give up on life.
She was always a tough girl, but it's like she's gotten tougher.
Yeah, but I feel like Tasty's she's been a tough girl, but she's always been lighthearted, you know, always seen the brighter side.
That's true.
And Danielle, one of the reviews of your performance says, Brooks delivers a performance that is powerful, soulful, and captivating. She takes command this year on a whole new level.
Thank
True.
you very much.
It's very true.
Thank you guys.
I know you've been asked this 1,000 times, but I'm interested. Why do you think it's connected with an audience beyond acting and scripts?
Well, I also think that, you know, Jenji Kohan and our writers are amazing. And, you know, we take up nothing is taboo for them. You know, we take up issues that are relevant to what's going on in the world. And, you know, it's more than just being an actor for hire. You know, we take up women's rights, you know, Black Lives Matter. I mean, there's some same-sex orientation. I mean, we take up so many amazing issues that a lot of people are scared. Yes, that a lot of people are scared to write about.
And let's start reacting to Laura Prepon. Ms. Prepon, that really takes it upon herself to tell everyone how in her show, thanks to her woke writers that also had not a shred of access to Google anything about the very troublesome background that Ms. Prepon really did bring to the table, the very real baggage that Ms. Prepon brought to the table. In terms of the history of violence, including but not limited to violence, absolute disgusting discrimination at a level that is unthinkable, what LGBTQ people had to suffer in the hotel that Miss Prepon was a paid member to. So in what world can Laura Prepon sit there spouting about how she cares so much about women's issues while from the other side of her mouth is sending wires to Scientology in the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars? Because the donations that Ms. Prepon definitely took upon herself to give to this hotel were not just any measly $10. You guys, let's make that clear. In order to climb up the levels, you have to pay. And that is why Netflix, that also took it upon themselves to hire Danny Masterson, actor Danny Masterson, until Netflix couldn't stand behind that. And then they did take it upon themselves to fire him. And we know exactly how that has ended for everybody today. So Ms. Prepon, who was besties with Danny, let's not forget that Ms. Prepon was FSM'd by Danny. Literally, kid you not, you guys, they call it, he disseminated her. In Scientology, the fact that Danny brought in Laura gained him a ton of brownie points with the president's office, with everybody willing to, you know, ignore a whole bunch of very highly illegal behavior that he did display while he himself was a paid member of that hotel. But apparently none of that matters. And apparently Miss Prepon couldn't be more talking from both sides of her mouth if she tried. And the fake wokeness that the media portrays ad nauseum, purporting that they really care about women, unless it's about the women that Miss Prepon knows. If she only GTS'd it, if she only Googled that shit, she could have found that there were, you know, plenty of very alarming things that not that she was going through, you guys, because repeat, the celebrity culture in these hotels is all made up of special treatment, very, very special treatment for the celebrities. They're treated as if they were fake royals. So in those hotels, the OT powers that you have to do with how much influence you personally wield, what kind of back-end hotel deals you're going to do about hooking you up with that director and with that show, because we're all friends here and we, you know, really pitch each other so that we all are in on it. So the problem with Miss Prepon is that she is not being honest about what in the hell she got involved in. Never mind that she was 18 when she was, you know, making her way here to Hollywood. She was still a very impressionable woman. But then she grew. Then she went to the Celebrity Center. Then she was given the special treatment. Then she normalized for herself as an adult to be served by, including but not limited to, child slaves that did definitely get signed to work at Celebrity Center as minors, being put to do posts, including but not limited to ethics handlings on adults, sessions on adults, willing to pay upwards of $500 an hour for this transaction. Case supervisors that could have come from Flag that were trained as minors. I would know They had a ton of very, very young staff at CC. They pitted, loved them young. There were so many minors running around CC, it's not even funny. But sure, everybody was clearing the planet. I'm sure they were clearing a lot with those minors being trafficked across state lines. And Miss Prepon that sits here purporting she has not a shred of a clue about anything. And she really does care about women's issues. And her woke writers that write TV shows that are all make-believe, not grounded in reality whatsoever, continue to play a joke on the very real kids of the organization that Miss Prepon took it upon herself to become a full-blown paying donor to what was done to the kids. And that's why it matters.
But audiences are smart and they want compelling television, and our show is compelling, and we push the envelope, and people respect it. And with the success of that, you now see other shows following suit. You know, we kind of blazed that path, and it's an amazing thing to be part of,
including politics, because this was filmed during.
More of Hollywood elitism in full display. Nothing like the people that can play the part, that can definitely take it upon themselves to play the part, because it's not like Gayle King, you guys, has no idea and has never heard of all of the horrific, disgusting, on the public record headlines, literal headlines from top tier media, literally the top of the tier media. There's not one single top tier outlet that hasn't taken a stab at the story, given that they are obsessed with the celebrities and David Miscavige. So it's not like it isn't known. It's not like Gayle King didn't get a front row seat to speak to all of the women being trafficked by none other than R. Kelly himself. So it's not like Gayle King, you guys, has not a clue what trafficking looks like and sounds like. But I guess this subject is still very foreign to Miss King, seeing that she has a founder of this trafficking at scale, Miss Prepon, who at the time was still very, 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 very well connected, and it's alleged that she's not today. Well, you know, a lot of publicists are telling their clients to, you know, put out those public statements. But, you know, these people that definitely funded what happened to the kids in those hotels, at minimum, don't have a shred of concern for what they did. And in fact, they want to just sit there and spout woke, fake AF performances that aren't grounded in any groundbreaking television. They're grounded in lies. They're grounded in cover-ups. They're grounded on Netflix, sleeping with Scientology celebrities all over the place, because none of these big time corporations, you guys, could literally care any less. That's all.
During the presidential election.
Right.
Yeah.
How did that affect the show, Taylor?
Well, I think that there was no way, given, I think, the way each of us just engage as citizens in the world. There was no real way to strip what we were making from the context in which we were creating it. I mean, I think living in the midst of the campaign and the election certainly imbued everything we were doing with a little bit more intensity.
But it's funny.
And again, you guys, shout out to Netflix, who just gave us a behind the scenes of what it really looks behind closed doors in these Scientology hotels. People beating each other up in hotel rooms, away from where people can see. The beatings are not always done in front of everybody, you guys. They hide, and then they have their way with you. The abuse can be physical. The abuse can be emotional. The abuse can be verbal. The abuse can be including, but not limited to, sexual. The abuse is humiliation. The abuse is false imprisonment. So, yet again, Ms. Prepon here is astonishingly unaware of that environment that is inside those hotels, because she is not under the same predicament as Sea Org members, you guys, that don't have access to GTSing nothing. Ms. Prepon, her entire PR team, her entire management team, her entire people running around pushing her into the corporate media, pushing her to sell what they're selling. And it's fine. Sell your stuff, Netflix. But don't get mad when you get called out for not doing a shred of due diligence. Your revolutionary joke, which is all this show was, a revolutionary joke to y'all who decided that, yeah, Laura could not have been the best pick out of every last shred of actress in this revolutionary LGBTQ story. We really needed Laura to step up and, purport that she really cares about these issues when she's not putting her money where her mouth is, you guys. And that's what's getting called out. Not putting your money where your literal mouth is.
Because it also shows, because I remember this specifically, that Election Day was during the episode I was directing. And I remember that specific day that was
Watching it on laptops.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
And everyone was like,
happening?
what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And everyone was on, pins and needles. But it's interesting because, and that was episode 10. So we were pretty much almost done with the season. But when you look at our show and that these women are going through this kind of power struggle and standing up for yourself and, fighting for what they believe in, it was so relevant to now what's kind of transpired, so that's.
I don't know about you guys, but I nearly fell asleep during Miss Prepon's sham fake pitch about how women standing up for what they believe in. Where women cannot at all stand up for what in the hell they believe in, you guys? Bingo. The Sea Org women. All the female Sea Org women are not allowed to stand up to what they believe in. In fact, if they stand up to what they believe in personally, if they're not regurgitating L. Ron Hubbard or David Miscavige or one of the other whatever's proteges, executives, so-called executives of these hotels, they get their heads rolling on a floor, not in a production set, not without a shred of boundaries that would be common sense, including but not limited to legal boundaries that should be protecting women to not be beat down physically, to not be sent to, including but not limited to, the hole at PAC, the hole at the FSO, the hole at the Gold Base, the hole in the UK, RPF UK, the hole at the ENSO RPF, all manner of holes that women ended up. And as Miss Prepon shows her entitlement to the entire world, given that she didn't have a shred of an experience like that for herself, you guys. Again, the celebrities were not the slaves. The celebrities were the slave masters. Very, very different situation. Very different exposure. Very different power dynamics that got played out in plain sight, no less. In these years, 2023, that's still happening. All the way until Miss Prepon purportedly left this hotel, cut ties with the hotel. But, you know, what about all this other fake stuff, Laura? Nothing makes sense. Because you know exactly what you're getting called out for, and you know exactly why it's wrong, and you know exactly where it happened, how many times it happened, to how many minors did you witness being trafficked at the Celebrity Center by your favorite executive of the year, Dave Pettit, who couldn't stop telling you how special you were and how much they were going to hook you up in Hollywood. So start reconciling what in the hell you stand for and what you've done and what your celebrity status and endorsement means. The weight of that and how it applies to this wide-ranging criminal racketeering conspiracy affecting kids as we speak. Miss Prepon, that's why it matters. Otherwise, this would be all water under the bridge, believe you me.
How amazing, I think our writers are, because they could foresee that this was something that was bubbling and going on.
And there's also
something very prescient about them, the way they wrote this. And yeah, I mean, standing up, resistance.
Right.
And there is the notion that your guys spent a lot of research in terms of looking at riots, even though most riots in prison have been at men's prisons.
Mhm.
You look at that in terms of getting a sense of how do we get at the heart of what a riot is about.
I think it takes people who are not afraid to die. I mean, think about
And shout out to this reporter here, you guys, that really wants to tell us how this show, Orange is the literal new black, definitely did their research. Imagine that. Imagine that that's the word you reach for when you describe the show, whose lead actress, they definitely didn't do their research on. Because if they would have, they should have had a shred of a spine to not, play that sick joke on all the victims that have come forward. All the victims that are on y'all's networks with headlines purporting that you know about this and you know about that, and you know that the father of the leader was being followed by somebody that had guns and literally a whole bunch of ammo in the back of his truck. But with that same blaseness, we have here Miss Prepon that apparently hasn't done anything wrong. Never mind, she's at the top of the celebrity food chain of these hotels, you guys. So why is Gail being so respectful to Miss Prepon and asking her not a shred of a question about the questionable ties of her artistic pitch and how they're devoid from any shred of reality, giving her long-standing alliance literally where her money has been going. That's why we have the saying, put your money where your mouth is, or put your money where your literal mouth is, so that we know really what in the hell you really are about. Because I think that where you're putting your money is what you cannot manipulate with platitudes and, you know, these like wannabe woke dissertations about how you really are schooling society at large, Miss Prepon, on what it means to have some morality. I'm sure that a lot of people out there would really, really, really would like you to do a whole podcast on that. Why don't you just share everything you learned in those hotels? Because perhaps, you know, maybe you did learn a lot more than me. Maybe.
And I feel like that the women are at that point because they have been treated like animals. They have been treated like the bottom of the barrel, you know, as inhumane. And right now they have nothing to lose.
Yeah, they know there are consequences and they
Yeah.
don't care.
Exactly.
To a T. Even the ones that aren't so outspoken, you see a change in them. I'm curious about the relationship between the two of you.
That was my question.
Was it? I'm very fascinated about that. Like, where is that
Yeah, where is
going?
the relationship?
I know you can't tell us the details, but it's interesting to see how it's evolved, how the way you two started. But you start season 5 clearly a couple.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, very quickly, I think that we realize that there's something that we're dealing with that's bigger than us right now, with what's going on in the current environment.
Imagine that, you guys. Something bigger than these two women. Like, imagine that. Like, literally.
At the prison, and you know, we basically I mean, the relationship between Alex and Piper is always so tumultuous and hot and cold, and which is why it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
And when that kind of thing gets thrown into a situation, I feel like a riot, you know, you kind of realize what's important, and you kind of at times put that aside and be like, okay, we need to focus on the greater
Yeah,
issue.
I think that it's as much as it is a fun relationship to watch.
Oh, yes, you guys. Nothing like a riot to get you to, what is it, Miss Prepon? Yeah, to figure out your priorities, what matters. What matters is that you are being fake, Miss Prepon. What matters is that you have been called out and you have weaseled your way out of getting called out. You haven't set the record straight about your involvement, and you are making money purporting that you are the best actress in the entire of Hollywood to play the role over LGBTQ issues that you fund to keep alive. You fund the hatred that is imposed on every last shred of minor who's in those hotels right now, getting told that they're out of valence, right, Laura? Getting told that they're in a lower condition, right, Laura? Getting told that they need a sec check, a tailor-made sec check, a tailor-made sec check with FBRD style, so they really get to the bottom of their evil purposes that are prompting them to want to be LGBTQ, right, Miss Prepon, or wrong?
there are sort of bigger themes that we're dealing with in this.
Is Piper ever
season.
getting out of prison?
I
for
don't
one
know the answer
Lord
to
have
that
mercy.
question.
Nobody knows the answer to that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
But we do know there will be 7 seasons.
Yes.
she's only been there for in real life. Piper was there for 13 months, but our Piper is in prison for 18.
What have we learned today, you guys? What have we learned? What in the hell have we learned? We learned that all of these companies, all of these corporations, big media corporations, definitely are pressed. Their legal departments, that is, they're very pressed to ever show anything close to the truth of the reality of what happens in those hotels whenever they have anything, in the news segments or in the media. They're very pressed to be not wanting to get tangled up with these people that really are paid members of hotels that their legal department, at best, recklessly negligent, hasn't done a shred of heavy lifting to GTS quickly for themselves. Laura Prepon, besties with Danny Masterson, part of this whole Scientology clan of people that we don't know if we can really and should really be vouching for. But, I guess Miss Prepon fooled every one of those actors that she did this fake LGBTQ rights, whatever, to really just play again a sick joke. As if Elizabeth Moss is not playing a sick joke over all the New York women that were forced to abort. As if Miss Laura Prepon isn't playing a very sadistic, sick joke on every last LGBTQ kid that grew up in those Scientology hotels. Because trust, Orange is the New Black couldn't be more of a watered down version of real, actual tortures that did take place to us, not with a set, not with producers around, all video recorded, mind you. They definitely took it upon themselves to video record. But this was reality TV. This was the real stuff. This was happening in real time, and this was getting recorded like the most disgusting, depraved reality TV show from hell that you could have ever possibly imagined. Now, why in the hell Miss Prepon, who was very fond of these audits as an adult, influential as she was, given that she was very young when she got inducted into this. But it's not like Miss Prepon's parents didn't give her an amazing upbringing. Miss Prepon had an amazing upbringing, she says. That's what she's on the public record stating. So, we're here to set the record straight with you, Laura, and with everyone else that is running around playing dumb, because it is the year 2023, last time we checked. And, it's time for the clownery to end, and it's for time to real ethics to be applied to y'all. It is really the time to start confronting what in the hell you got influenced into becoming such a pivotal paid endorser of the things that were done to kids while you were there, if you're still not there. So I thank you all for watching. I love y'all, and I'll see you all extremely soon. Bye-bye.